What's going on, you guys? So in the last video, we looked at how we can scrape quotes from the Goodreads website using Python. And we ended up with this scraper here, which extracts all these quotes, and then we dump them into a quotes.json file, as you can see right here. So this is all for our Twitter bot that we're building. We don't just want it to tweet famous quotes, we also want it to post images as well. And when I mean images, I mean like quite high quality images and quite pleasing to look at. So in order to get these images, the kind of crux of this video itself will be to use the Unsplash API to download images that we can then later post. And we'll focus on the posting in the next few videos. So one thing I would recommend is to, if you are following along with this video or this series, is to create a Unsplash account. And you can do so by going onto the unsplash.com website and then just signing up. And then once you've done that, click this kind of three-dot button here. I've forgotten the name of that. But then go into API/developers. So this link here. And if you have logged in, you will see this page here, and from there just create an app that will provide you with keys to access the Unsplash API. Once you've done that, you'll basically have an app, and in my case I've called it Twitter Philosopher, so name it however you want, and then you'll be provided with two of these keys. And yes, I'm showing them on screen. However, I will be deleting this app once this video has been released. So yeah, don't worry about anyone using the keys that I've been given. And yeah, that's what we'll be using. We'll be using Unsplash to find images based on some kind of query, whether it be philosophy or, I don't know, let's have a look, like philosophy. So we'll get images like this. And we'll download these images for then to post them using our Twitter bot. And the documentation is something I recommend checking out. It's very, very well written. So yeah, it's quite easy to use, and hopefully you'll see that in this video. But yeah, just create the app using or the Unsplash app, get the keys, and then we'll go ahead and create or start writing the script that will download these images. So once you've created the API or the app within Unsplash, you'll get these keys, and we only want the access key. So this one here, we don't really care about the secret key. And we'll just copy that into our clipboard, and then back into our source code within the source folder, we'll create a .env file. So this will just, if you're unfamiliar with .env, this is where we'll keep our environment variables. For example, we don't want to put our access key, we don't want to hard code it into our Python files in case, let's say you push it to GitHub, then it's exposed to everyone. If you have a public repository, and also when we use on Heroku, we will also create environment variables there, and we'll also be putting in our access key there too. So we'll just call this access_key and just paste in the access key Unsplash gave us. Now, in order to make use of this, or make use of .env files, one library I like to use is called the .env library or module in Python. So I'm just going to show you. Actually, I've forgotten the installation. I always forget these pip installs. But we need to install this. So pip install python-.env, and just copy that over. And back in the parent directory of our project, we can just paste that in and install python-.env. Let's clear that. I already had mine installed, I think that's why it was quite quick. But yeah, so now we have the .env file. Let's go back and create a file within our source folder called Unsplash. And this is where we'll handle everything regarding Unsplash. So the first thing we want to do is just make some imports. So we want the request file, as we'll be making a request to the Unsplash API. So import requests as _requests. We also need the OS module. So import OS as _OS for our environment variables, and also for downloading and saving our images. And lastly, we just need the .env file. So import .env as _.env, like so. So the first thing we need to do is make this call. So .env load .env, and this will just load all our environment variables that are in our .env file that we created. And lastly, we just need the access key. So we can say access _key equals _os.environ, and then we just say access or whatever we named it here. So I'm just going to copy that in case I do make any typos, and into that. So that will be our access key. Now let's go ahead and create the method that will return like a huge collection of images. So I'm just going to close this or lower it, and we'll say we'll create a method called search _images, and this will give it a kind of a query. So for example, like history or philosophy, and it will return to us a collection of images or it will return a response that has all the data for a bunch of images regarding philosophy, for example, or architecture. And then this will return a list. So we can just go ahead and import that from typing, import list. And you don't have to do this. This is more of a preference that I have. Some cases I use typing, some cases I don't. But where you can and where it doesn't take too much like thinking, just use them as it helps, especially when it comes to like code completion, as VS Code will pick up on it. So within our search images, we want to get a random query. And these queries we can kind of create in our constants.py file. And it will just be a list. So we can say unsplash _queries equals, and we can just extend on tags and add some extra ones. So let's say we want some on history, we want some on like architecture, they're quite nice to look at. And what else could we have? Let's say art. So it will be just the tags list along with these 3 extra elements. Let's just save that. And now within our search images method, we can go ahead and, well, first of all, import the const file. So we can say import constants as _constants. And we can say query equals a random selection. So we also need random. Sorry about the up and down with the import. So import random as _random, like so. And we can say _random, and we want a random choice. So random.choice, and then pass in constants dot. For some reason, like it's not picking up constants, the constants file that I created on mine. But anyway, let's just paste that. So constants.unsplash queries. So select a random one, whether it be history, philosophy, whatever. And then we need to point this to, or we need to put this into the query that we make. So what we can do is go back to the Unsplash API documentation, and on search photos, as that's what we'll be using, we need this endpoint, this HTTPS like search photos. And then here, like it gives the example of looking for or querying for office. So it will return a collection of office images or data around that. We can just paste that in. So just copy that and paste it. So we can say our URL equals, and we'll format it. It will equal this, and we can replace office with our query, like so. And then finally, we need to tell it that we have this access key. So at the end here, we can do ampersand, and then client underscore ID equals just the client ID or the access key that we have, like so. So this is our URL, and we can now go ahead and make a request. So we'll save this within our response variable. We say request.get, and then just the URL that we created. And then we can extract the data. So we can say data equals, and the response is like has this results here. So like in this example, we get results, and these are all the images, all the data regarding all the images that come with it. And as this is a dictionary, we can just say the response dot, and just convert this to a JSON format. And then we just want to get the results. Sorry, not get, we just want results. So this list here that comes with results. And let's just return that data. We can test this out now. So I'm just gonna shrink the Explorer side so we have more space. And we can do print underscore search images. And back in the command line, I'm just going to go into the source folder so we can run this. Make that a bit bigger, and just type in Python unsplash.py, and we get this huge list of data. So all these images, I don't know how long it is, but each of these is an image. We can probably look for one. Let's just go to the top. We have these links, so within URLs here, like it's quite unclear to see, so don't worry if you can't see it, but we have this link here, and if I click on this full one here, if it allows me to, yeah, open it, we get this image. So yeah, like I guess this might have to do with life or something, I don't know, but it's a nice image, quite high quality. So we can, we'll be getting these images. But this is a list, so we just want to get a random one from this, and we want that link, we want to use this link as our download link to get these images and put them into our file system. So next we can create a method that basically gets a random image link. So the link I just clicked, for example, so we can say get random image link, like so. And this will first get our queries, or not so much queries, our response data, and that will be underscore search images. And then do a random query, or random image data, and we can make use of the random file module again, and do choice. And as this returns a list, we can just pass in the response data, like so. And then we just want to extract the link from that. So we can say link equals the random image data, and then within URLs. So if we go back to the Unsplash documentation, we get the URLs here, and each of these are images. So we want like let's say we can go with the full one as that's like good quality. Actually, let's go with regular. I don't know how Twitter will respond if the image is too large. I guess it would be fine, but stay on the safe side. Let's use regular, and then within here just do regular, like so. And then we can just return link. Now let's go ahead and try that. I'm just gonna call the get random link, and we should expect some link to a regular sized image. And if I just open up terminal again, as soon as this loads, and we can do Python, or let's just cd into source Python unsplash.py, and URL is not found. That's because it's URLs, sorry. So I think that's the reason why it's not URL, it's URLs with an S, plural. And let's try that again. So yeah, we get this regular image. If I click on it now, we get this here. So probably something to do with writing. But yeah, that's what we want. And this link we'll use to then download our image. So now we can go ahead and create a function that will download the image. And I won't put like a underscore at the beginning of this method as, so let me just write it instead. Download image. So yeah, notice how there's no underscore here, as we'll use this download image later on in another file. That's why I don't want this to be inferred as being a protected method. So within download image, we can do file name equals, and we'll put it into a picture.jpg, sorry. And the reason why I'm creating a fixed name for this file is because once this image is tweeted, or we'll see this in a later video, but once this image has been posted, then we'll delete, we won't be making another picture image. We don't want to clutter up our source code with loads of images. So it will just always overwrite this picture.jpg. That way we can ensure that images aren't being like new images with different names are being created onto our system. So yeah, it could be like, let's say you're running this bot for like a few weeks or a few months, and when you check back into your system, you'll see loads of images being created. Maybe if like you're paying for Heroku services, they might charge you a bit more for that. That's why we just want to override the picture.jpg. So yeah, now once we've got that, we can go ahead and get our URL for our image. So we can say image underscore URL, and that will be get random image link. And then we can say, we can make a call to it. So call it image request equals underscore request dot get, and then pass in the image URL. And we want to set stream to true, and that will allow us to download the image itself. So an actual image, we need to have this stream.true. Stream equals true, not stream.true. And then we can check now. So if image request.status code is 200, so if it's successful, then we can go ahead and download it. So with open and then the file name, so picture.jpg, and we'll say WB, so write binary, and we can call it as image. Then we can like each of these, like the image itself that's we get from this request.get. Actually, instead of image.request, we can call it image response. I think that's probably a better name. Response. But the image response will be we'll have kind of like something called chunks, and we want to download these chunks from this image into a file, and that's why we need the stream to equal true. So we can say for chunk in image response, then image.write. So we're writing each of these all this data that's coming from this image into our image file. Not chunk, sorry, a lot of typos. And just to make this clear, I'll call this image file. Image file, like so. But yeah, so if the image response is has a status code of 200, then we'll go ahead, and this basically just handles our download for our image. Now let's go ahead and try this out. So I'm going to open up the file system because we want to see this picture.jpg being created. So I'm just going to replace that with download image, and I don't want to print it as that's not what we need. And now we can do, if I just open this, make this terminal a bit bigger, we can do Python Unsplash. So that was pretty quick. Like, we just get our image. If I click on it, we have this image here. If I run this again, then I get another one, another one, another one. I guess arts. Yeah. So these are really nice images that we're getting, and we're downloading them, and it didn't take a lot of code to write that. This is mainly a way to download an image. So you could probably, if you're looking at how to download an image like in general, then hopefully this code helps. All you need is the image URL and you'll be able to do that. But yeah, that basically concludes the downloading of images from Unsplash. So that's this video concluded. But yeah, in the next one, we'll start looking into creating our Twitter bot and posting our quotes and images onto it. But yeah, as for that, like if you enjoyed this video and if it gave you any value, then please leave a like and also subscribe. I have a Discord server, so if you want to just say hello or have any requests for future videos, then feel free to drop by and let me know there. But aside from that, stay healthy, stay safe, and I hope to see you in the next video.